So this video we've got next is $75 versus $7 grilled cheese. Our Italian mama, or Italian G-ma is back. She's gonna make a grilled cheese with a pro chef. I don't know who the pro chef is,
That's what we say, mutz. We don't say mozzarella.
It's mozzarella, okay?
Oh, it's Frank.
We're from Brooklyn. That's how we say it. Fresh mutz.
Fresh mutz.
Hi, I'm Frank. I'm a professional chef, and in this box are all the ingredients for a $75 grilled cheese.
I'm Beth. I'm a home cook, and in this box are my $7 grilled cheese ingredients.
Kraft single slices. I better see some Lucerne in there.
Oh boy!
I better see Lucerne. You better not throw no Kraft singles on a grilled cheese. Kraft singles is okay for like 7-year-old children. But if you're a grown man trying to eat a grilled cheese, we need that Lucerne. Mom, I'm a big boy now. Give me some of that Lucerne. I don't need that Kraft shit anymore. I'm a Lucerne man now.
What did Frank send me here?
Okay, let's see.
She's gonna have to make her own cheese, her own
I
bread.
hope it's flour. I need flour. I've been baking like crazy. Flour! Oh, this is expensive flour. Nice. How am I gonna make
The
a grilled
all-purpose
cheese
kind
with
of flour.
All right. I think it might be impossible to make a bad grilled cheese.
Creamy tomato soup to go along with it. Nice, nice touch.
So I guess this is Frank's recipe book. Let me get my glasses.
For my grilled cheese, I had some nicer ingredients to work with. For the cheese, I had planned on making my own fresh mozzarella.
What am I going to do with the cheese curd? Frank, we could have just had fresh mozzarella. Am I going to make mozzarella?
I had tomatoes for roasting.
Look at
Whoa, are
these
you telling me we're not
beautiful
using
tomatoes.
American cheese for our
garlic,
grilled
Garlic, of
cheese?
course.
Basil and extra virgin
This isn't a
olive oil.
pizza. Why do we
This
got
is
mozzarella
good
on this?
imported olive oil. Beautiful brown eggs. Nice.
All of this on a freshly baked rustic bread.
I haven't had
Ooh,
good
rustic.
fresh bread
That
since
sounds
March.
expensive.
And if you know anything about me, there was some fancy salt.
Ooh la la. Fleur de sel.
With
In a
Beth's
crack
recipe, I have
bag.
some simple ingredients. Things you're more likely to find in your local grocery store.
In my family, grilled cheese is called a quickie pie. This is my mother-in-law's quickie pie maker. You seal it, put the lock on, and when you open it, it's a little sandwich that's sealed on all edges. I've made thousands of quickie pies. Richie loved it when he was young. I loved it when I first got married. We love them. We love quickie pies.
For Beth's recipe, we have some white bread, some ricotta cheese, garlic, mozzarella.
Why do you say ricotta
For
like
recipe, We
that?
have some white
Ricotta.
bread, some ricotta cheese, garlic, mozzarella, and tomato soup.
Weird.
Tomato soup and a quickie pie, the perfect combination.
These ingredients make
A quickie pie sounds like you're trying to do the deed before like company comes over. You got like 6-7 minutes. All right, let's go do a little quickie pie in the bathroom before our guests get here. Or you're going to work and you're like, all right, let's get a little quickie pie in before I gotta go to work.
maybe
A
simple,
quickie
but
pie
I
is
think
not
I can
something I
elevate
want to
them and
eat.
make them a little bit better.
I can't imagine what Frank is going to do to my quickie pie recipe. Probably going to be fabulous, knowing Frank, because he's a great chef. It's not going to be a quickie pie.
If I had to guess, this would probably cost about $7 to $8.
With this expensive oil and the curd and the flour,
And a flour?
$65? $75? I could believe that, but really, Frank.
That
you're gonna be
mozzarella
making
turd
my
was
quickie pies.
$18?
I'm telling you, hands down, they're going to be better than your $75 grilled cheese. Here we are in my kitchen.
So welcome back to my home kitchen. Always lovely to have you here.
I love my kitchen. I spend hours and hours a day in the kitchen. I'm making lots of chocolate chip cookies for my grandbabies.
Let's cook.
So all we have here, Frank, is a list of ingredients. No directions, because I've seen this show on the Epicurious channel. I know all about it.
For the dish I was making, I was going to make mozzarella and carrozza.
Mozzarella and carrozza with basil and roasted tomatoes.
Translated from Italian, that means a mozzarella and a carriage. And it's the Italian version of grilled cheese.
I've eaten this in restaurants many, many times. You're right, Frank. This is a delicious cheese sandwich.
It's kind of like a mozzarella stick. The bread is kind of sealed around some mozzarella, and then it's basically fried.
Okay, you want me to roast the tomatoes. You're going to have me make the mozzarella.
I sent Beth curd, and this is what she's going to make the mozzarella out of.
That's definitely a Rose question. I have no idea how to make mozzarella.
Mozzarella might be
Rosemary.
technically difficult, but once you see it, once
Rosemary,
you it's really
help
not all
out
that hard.
the.
Beth, my wife thinks you got this.
Just
Don't
forget
worry
it.
about it. She's seen you cook. She trusts that you can do this.
I'll put everything together, and then I'm going to dredge it in flour. I got you. This sounds good. This sounds really good. The only thing I'm not sure about is how to make mozzarella. I don't know how to do it at all. But Rose will help me out. I'm not worried.
That's what Rose is
You
here
can't
for.
get the better of me,
The
Frank
food
Solo.
scientist.
Hey, Rose.
Hey, nice to see she's going.
Well, Frank sent me mozzarella curd instead of mozzarella.
That sounds like Frank.
I have never made fresh mozz.
You know, like all good cooking things, it takes practice, but you're going to get it. So really now the key is to break up the curds, put them in really hot, salty water.
How much water would you use for 3 pounds of curd?
You want to cover it and make sure it's salty too, because if I know Frank, he probably wants it as salty as the ocean.
All right, so, but I'm not actually going to boil it. I'm just going to put it into hot water.
I would go up to like 170-ish and let them sit and melt for a few minutes, maybe.
Hold
up to
on, wait a minute. I got my AirPods right here. Those stems look a little long, right? Grandma rocking fake AirPods? Damn, why'd I do it to her? Oh. Nah, not G-Ma. Not the G-Ma making a fresh mutz. Oh, yep, this is what gave it away. I'm looking at my AirPod right now. Silver bottom. Where's the silver? There's no silver in sight. Boom! G-Ma, you just got exposed! Oh! No, I'm kidding.
4 to 5
I was about to call her
minutes.
poor, but
And then what happens is you take a
that looks like a pretty nice
wooden spoon or
kitchen.
some sort of a paddle and kind of pull it. That's really what they call it. So you pull it, and what happens is the proteins, the cheese proteins in the milk start to stretch and realign. So you get this really nice, super melty, stretchy quality with mozzarella that you don't get with other cheeses because of the processing method.
Do I have to do anything with it after that or just start to use it?
Really good question. Once you form the balls, you want to put them in ice cold water
Balls,
till it's firm enough
balls,
so that you
balls,
can slice it.
my eyes!
I guess I'm going to be using the olive oil to saute it, but I think I'm going to put a little butter in the olive oil too, just for flavor.
If you want to add butter, just between us, I think that's the way to go.
But don't tell Frank. I really appreciate it.
Hey, just
Oh,
don't tell
sure.
Frank.
I can't wait to see the final product.
I wish I could be with you in person to let you taste it.
I do too. I feel like we would have a good time together.
Thank you, darling. I feel much better now. I feel like I can do the mutz. Don't get me wrong. I don't think
Any older woman who calls you darling, that woman can cook. I remember there was a little brownie shop over by where I lived, and the woman who ran the spot used to call us, me and my brother, darling when we'd walk in. Best brownies I've ever had in my life. Maybe second. Because my dad had this girlfriend. Boy, she could cook her ass off, son. Second. But boy, she was no joke in the kitchen. She was
this is
killing
gonna be
that
easy,
shit.
but I think it's going to be fun.
Let's talk about what we're going to put on the inside of this sandwich. I like Beth's method. I think it kind of reminds me a little bit of a calzone. And what's cool about this is you can put whatever you want in there. You have leftover meatballs, you got sausage, you got pepperoni. You can put whatever you want in there. I have some peppers in my fridge. So what I'm going to do with the shishitos is I'm going to slice them. And all I'm going to do with them is take the top off and then cut them down the center and get the seeds out.
I think the best thing to do would be to start with the roasted tomatoes.
Beth's are roasted tomatoes so that they dry out a little. If they're still wet, they're going to make our sandwich soggy.
Let me just take the top off. That's a nice
I took the
tomato.
top off.
For the fresh tomatoes, I want Beth to cut them 1/4 of an inch.
I don't want the slices too thin.
I think that's the perfect size to get the moisture evaporated out and still keep some of the tomato texture.
So I've got my tomatoes nicely spread
I be
out
dripping
on my
without
pan.
y'all.
Put some garlic on, little cracked black pepper, Some salt. Tomatoes love salt, and I love salt on my tomatoes. Frank wants sugar on these tomatoes.
This point of the year, tomatoes just need a little extra flavor. So the sugar's gonna help make them a little sweet.
And now we have to get some of this beautiful olive oil. $75 for these ingredients. It's amazing. It's good to be a professional chef, Frank.
I'm gonna cut some garlic up, and with this, I'm just gonna do
I'll take the
a
top
very
off.
rough chop. So we got our garlic and we got our peppers.
I could do this without y'all.
I already preheated my oven to 275. I'm gonna put these in for about 40 minutes. Now I'm gonna clean up and get ready for the mutts.
Okay, now it's time for the cheese. You can't have grilled cheese without the cheese. For the cheese, we have some mozzarella. This is a low moisture mozzarella. I sent Beth curd, and this is what she's gonna make the mozzarella out of.
The curd is the cheese itself with the water removed. So it's kind of dry. I'm gonna rehydrate the curd so that it gets more pulley, you know, more mutzy. It rips apart really easily, but Rose said to try to make the pieces even, so I think I'm gonna cut it. This isn't all gonna be the same exact size pieces. But we're home chefs, right? Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to taste good.
I'm just gonna cut some thin slices. I'm gonna cut about a half a
That's
pound
all
of
that
it.
matters.
I just want to have it so that I can kind of place
It tastes
and
good?
It's not going to kind of fall out.
Who
the
cares how it's
sides, 'cause
made?
I'm going to crimp this sandwich together. Let's go over to the stove.
I've had the water boiling. The temperature is over 200 degrees, so I know it has to cool down a little bit. I'm gonna take the temperature of the water, add some salt.
To make fresh mozzarella, what you're going to do is get some water just below the boil, about 180 degrees, and you're going to put some salt in it. I usually go sea salty. If you add salt later, you're going to have a very bland piece of cheese. When you add the salt to the water, it's going to get into the cheese.
I'm gonna make sure that I have lots and lots of salt in my water. I certainly don't want to disappoint the salt master. Here we go. Cool. This is right at 180. Let me add some salt. Frank's not gonna be happy with that. It all goes in.
Oh,
Want to
wow.
make sure this tastes like the sea.
Your sodium.
Perfect.
So now we're over
Next
the
time you
stove.
see the doc, you
I'm
can be
gonna
like,
fry the peppers.
cut that
Have
down a
small
little bit,
saute
okay?
pan. It's on kind of medium high.
You like living, right? Living's cool. You got nothing to complain about, right? That salt, we gotta get that out of there. You like to live, right? That salt, gotta go.
Put some olive oil in here.
Shut
So
it
I take
down.
My peppers, my pan's nice and hot.
Like
My oil is
75%,
kinda shimmering.
you know?
Hit it with some salt. I want the peppers to
Your
start
sodium
to
level's
brown.
looking
So I'm
crazy.
going to leave it be for a second or two. You can see they're starting to get brown. I'm going to add some of my garlic now. I'm going to lower my heat just a little. Give this a little swirl around. So now the
Little wiggle.
peppers look like they're ready to go. The garlic is lightly brown, not too brown. You can see the peppers are starting to wilt. I'm going to just leave this in the pan until we're ready to assemble.
I'm kind of making a mozzarella station here. Got my hot, salty seawater, my mozzarella curd, and my ice bath. So when I form the balls and they look perfect, I'll be able to put it right in. I'm hoping, Frank. I'm really hoping. But we'll see. Here we go. I'm just going to let this sit for a little while now that everything is underneath the water. I don't want to disturb it. Give it a couple of minutes.
Boy, those Italians love replacing the A in water with a U. I watch Los a lot, and water, they just love the word water. They're like, water's too, hashish, too nice. Water, that's the way to go. We're going to call it water
I make
now.
fresh mozzarella. I wear a couple of pairs of latex gloves on my hands. Beth just needs to be careful not burning herself.
I never use gloves in the kitchen. This is going to be hot, though, so I may have wanted gloves, but I'm a Brooklyn broad. I can handle it. Dee, 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 dee. Waiting for them to come together. I'm a terrible singer. Richie's a
Dun,
professional
dun,
musician.
dun, dun,
Let's see if I
dun,
can
dun.
help it come together.
Looks
Look
like
at this.
Play-Doh.
This is so cool.
Do, 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 dun, dun, dun,
It's
dun,
starting to
dun,
stretch.
dun,
That's
dun,
amazing.
dun,
That is
dun, dun,
really
dun,
neat.
dun.
This feels fun. Kids would love this. Oh, I would love to do this with Lukey and Zachy. The water's not.
Who? Lukey? Zachy? These are names you give kids who like to be bullied. I wish my friends would be around. If I was a Luke and my grandmother said, "Bye bye, Lukey." Are you shitting me? In front of my crush too? Are you? Oh, yo. Grandma. That's Abigail over there. You don't call me Zachy or Lukey in front of Abigail, all right? Now, the quickie pies were good. They ain't good enough for you to be calling me no Lukey in front of Abby.
It's not that hot. It's
Shut the
really
hell
not.
up.
After the mozzarella
No, I'd
is
never
super
tell my
smooth,
grandma to shut the hell
then
up.
what you want to do is fold it in on itself and make balls and do the pinch. And it looks so easy, but it's not.
It feels like Play-Doh. I know this doesn't look very elegant, but it's working. I'm just kind of forming it like a little bread loaf, sealing it at the bottom.
Kids are evil.
It's fun. I kind of feel like a...
And if I heard the word Lukey enter my eardrum, I'm looking right at the kid who got it called, and I'm cooking him.
professional right now. I feel
Probably.
like
When I was a kid, I'd probably cook the shit out that little man.
My last one. I'm
Lukey?
very happy with the way that turned out. What do you think? That's really good. That tastes like fresh mutts. Frank, you would love this.
Beth had paired tomato soup with this grilled cheese sandwich, but I'm a chef, of course, and I have to mess around with things. I'm gonna use tomato fondue, and I'm gonna make kind of a spreadable jam or condiment to put on the finished sandwich. I have some oil in the pan. I have about 1/3 to about 1/2 cup, and I'm gonna add my garlic. We're just gonna cook the garlic until it's fragrant and
Tomato
light brown.
fondue.
I'm gonna add my tomato
Wow.
paste.
Sounds
I'm gonna use a whole can of
well, nope.
this.
This is the
What I'm
cheap
gonna
stuff.
do now is stir the paste into the oil, so that oil kind of like starts to fry our paste. Hit it with a fair amount of pepper, salt. We're going to season it up
And a
fairly
frank
well.
amount of
At
salt.
this point, I want to keep stirring it so that the paste doesn't burn. Lower the heat just a little bit. I'm just going to add a little water to this. I don't want the tomato paste to reduce too quickly.
Even he's
so
saying water.
The water's just going to add a little time in order for this.
He must
tomato
have a
paste
little
to
bit of
work through.
Italian sprinkled in
I'm also
there.
going to add a little red wine vinegar. This is store-bought red wine vinegar. And if you look at it, you'll notice that it's really deep red. It's never that red. If I have any leftover red wine, I'll pour some of the vinegar out and put red wine in there. It just makes it taste a lot better. So I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of this just to give it a little acidity. And I'm just going to let this cook for a few minutes. And that's going to be our tomato
Fondue.
I'm going to slice everything up so I can get ready to make the sandwich. Here's my artisan bread. White bread, Frank. I think we would have been better with white bread. Ooh, that
Yeah.
looks nice, though. This
Good
is certainly
point.
going to be delicious. I don't want the bread to be too thick.
This is like the bread they serve
because
at
I don't
California
think the
Pizza
mutts
Kitchen.
will melt if the bread is too thick.
If you've never been to California
Bread
Pizza
cut.
Kitchen,
I'm gonna
you're
clean
missing
this
out.
up and,
Oh boy, are you
cut the
missing
mutts.
out.
I have everything here that I need
Oh,
to assemble
boy.
my grilled cheese sandwich before I bring it over to the stove and cook it. This is what I got. Mozzarella. It's low moisture mozzarella, some whole milk ricotta cheese, some of the peppers that we fried up earlier with garlic and oil, some salt, and some white bread. You don't want to get fancy, anything fancier than this white bread. It needs to be squishy so that it'll crimp together. If it's fancy, it won't stick together. If you don't have a quickie pie mold, you can use a regular coffee mug. And this is the coffee mug I'm going to use. Once a princess, always a princess mug. Yeah, this is
That
mine.
relate to you,
Yes,
Frank?
it is.
Okay.
What I like
Nothing
about
wrong.
this is that it doesn't have a sharp edge. It has kind of a rounded edge. Plus, it's also large. So my end sandwich will probably be around that size.
I did leave the mozzarella in the ice bath. I want it to be nice and cold. I'm going to take these little ones to the birthday parade and leave them on the stoop for Lukey so he can have them later today for his birthday. This slices really nicely. 6 years ago, I
Jeez,
became
she's a working
grandma.
woman.
I didn't think I could
Lukey's
be happier than
birthday
when my children
and
were
an
born,
Epic
but
Curious video in one
it was the
day.
happiest day of my
Talk
life.
about commitment.
So I get my pieces of bread
I hope
here.
my wife is
I'm gonna
like
put my
that.
mozzarella down first, just like 3 slices, and then a little bit of the ricotta cheese. And with the ricotta, I'm going to spread it out and make like a little bit of...
Ricotta, 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 ricotta. I don't know what. There is no A after the word ricotta cheese. It's not ricotta cheese. No, I'm just kidding. He's probably just trying to sound aesthetically pleasing. Sound the same way that the Italians say it.
bit of a divot so that it holds my peppers. Remember, you
I
don't want to
won't
overstuff
butcher him
these.
for that.
If you overstuff, things are going to kind of pop out. And then just a little bit of my peppers and garlic, another slice or two of mozzarella for safety, a little
Please
bit
tell
of
me we're
salt,
putting that on a
and then we're going
pan.
to take our tops and squish them down.
Time
He
to
has
put the
to.
sandwich together.
Could you imagine a
Couple of
cold
slices of
grilled
mutz,
cheese?
Pepper on the mutz, a little more salt. Here's my tomato, nice and roasted. Always salt on tomatoes. I know it seems like a lot of salt, but salt is wonderful. Salt is your friend. Frank knows what I'm talking about. Fresh basil, it smells heavenly. Some more mutz, it's going to be heaven.
Then I get my mug, lean on it so I get a good seal, and then really lean on it and twist. Okay?
A little
So what I
quickie
get
pie.
Is this crimped?
Oh, that's sick.
So if you got
It looks like an
cracks,
Uncrustable.
You can always just pinch it together, but you'll see you got a nice seal on the edge. So I have these crusts. I'm going to fry them alongside or after.
Or you could have your cat wear them, right? That's a video. Cat wearing bread.
do my
That's a thing.
sandwiches and just snack on them.
Here's our sandwiches ready to be fried in oil and a little butter.
So we're by the stove and we're going to grill this grilled cheese. In this container, I have the oil from my tomato fondue. I'm just going to put this into the pan. So get this over a medium heat and just place it in the oil. And we're going to let this brown over a medium to low heat, just for the fact that we want everything on the
Yep,
inside
6 is the perfect
to get
level.
melty. So
That's what I
I'm not
use
gonna
for my
rush it.
bacon,
I'm
egg,
gonna
and
take
cheese
it really
sandwiches.
easy with it and just let it go.
This
Well,
is
used.
beautiful extra virgin olive oil. This is very expensive. To fry in is crazy, but all right, Frank. The reason I add butter is because I really like the taste of the butter. I
Yep.
like butter's
Smart
flavor,
woman.
And I think it browns better. Into the flour.
So in this recipe, I have Beth dredging the sandwich. First in flour and then in egg. The flour, the egg, and the bread is basically the carriage for the mozzarella. It's going to give a nice kind of golden brown coating to the outside and keep everything in the sandwich.
The flour will seal in everything. Put this in the egg mixture. Egg on all sides. Get that right in
Ooh,
the
she
pan.
getting her hands
And I
dirty.
just want to leave it alone because I want it to get a nice brown crust.
You can see that it's getting nice and golden brown. So I'm going to add a little more oil to the pan. And I'm not going crazy with the oil because I don't want this to be greasy. Turn these over. I'll kind of splash my oil over to where they are and let them go on the other side. I really don't want to press down too much. I just want to make sure they're settled in the pan. If you press down, I'm afraid the things are going to kind of squeeze out. I'm going to let them go on the other side again, just to be sure that I get it hot in the middle. I think the biggest mistake people make with grilled cheese is they're not patient. They get it in a pan that's too hot and the bread gets burned and the cheese isn't melted. You want to take it slow. Take your time. It's okay. If you're so hungry you need to eat it right away, maybe you should have had a banana earlier in the day.
Tell him, Frank.
Wow, look
Oh,
at that. Nice. That's golden brown. That's beautiful.
Ooh.
The mousse
I hope
is
she
a
didn't get
little
touched by any of
oozy,
that. That looked like it
but
hurt.
for the most part, it's staying in the sandwich.
Okay, so at this point, I'm going to take some of my crusts I'm
And
just
put
gonna
it on your
toast these
cat.
off, just to soak up some of that excess oil, and we'll have a little snack with them. Your Italian ancestors would not be appreciative if you wasted bread. Look at that, crispy and delicious.
Gonna put this on a paper towel so it drains a little bit of that oil. Look at that. Isn't that great? The mutz is definitely done. Nice and soft. That looks delicious. I can't wait to eat this. Let's bring this back to the table and plate it up. Okay, let's plate this beautiful sandwich. That's beautiful. That looks like the
that
Italian
is
flag.
gangster.
I have the grilled cheese. It's nice and crispy. I have my tomato fondue that I made earlier. Get a nice sharp knife. Give it a nice slice. We have a nice creamy interior. The mozzarella
That's
is really
what's up.
melted.
I'm not a big fan of jalapeno peppers on my grilled cheese sandwich. But hey, beggars can't be choosers.
A little of the fleur de sel, the expensive salt from France.
Wow.
Have to put a nice little piece of fresh basil on there just to decorate my sandwich.
Just a little bit of my tomato fondue so you can dip, and that's going to be
Frank, I hope I did you proud.
it's just me and a sandwich. Can you tell who is who?
Now that's a beautiful sandwich.
Now's my favorite part. I get to taste it.
That's really
Details.
good. The fleur de sel on top is just that crunchy, salty taste. Delicious. The cheese is fabulous. The roasted tomato.
Oh
is
boy, I
so
wish
rich
Lukey
in
could have had a
taste.
piece of
The
this.
sandwich is like a warm hug. So wonderful. It's not a quickie pie.
Save a little bit for Lukey, huh? It's his birthday.
Dip it
Let
a
Lukey get a
in the
little
tomato
taste.
Fondue. Delicious. I would never have thought to put ricotta cheese in a grilled cheese. It is amazing. It's creamy, it's cheesy, it's got a little acidity from the tomatoes, and I think it's much better than your regular grilled cheese. But
Stop.
then again, grilled cheese is delicious no matter what.
No, Frank, he did great.
I mean, if
But
you
he-
were to spread your cheeks over a grilled cheese and shit on it, I don't think that'd be a good grilled cheese. He said any grilled cheese is good. That grilled cheese sounds horrible.
He's not a grandma, so there's going to be a little something missing.
Great job, Frank.
I can't wait to see Frank's quickie pie.
Quickie pie. What a name. Who came up with
You know
that?
I've done a good job if she doesn't give it back. Hey Beth, how's it going?
Frank! This was so much fun. I've eaten this many times in restaurants. It's fabulous.
Did Richie get a taste?
He loved it. He loved the mutz. He loved the sandwich. But and the
What about
tomato for sure.
Lukey?
Let me tell you what I did with your thing, right? I didn't have the press that you were talking about, right? So I had to like rig it up a little. I used a really big coffee cup and smushed it down. I used my favorite mug that has a big hole and I kind of just smushed it down, you know? It turned out so good. I would never have put ricotta in a grilled cheese. It is amazing. I love it. I also put a little hot peppers in there, like, you know, the fried hot peppers. And instead of soup, I did a kind of tomato like paste fondue. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see it.
That looks like a rose.
Great.
And this I made with a bunch of olive oil. And I drained that oil out and I used it to fry it in so that it has like a tomato oil.
That worked. It stayed together.
Oh, look at that. Absolutely beautiful.
Little basil just for
Yeah, I'm
you.
taking the
Yeah,
quickie
yeah.
pie.
Looked a little chefy.
Yeah, a little chefy, right?
I'll take
but
that
the
quickie pie
tomato,
any day.
Put it right over the top.
It wasn't hard to fry, was it?
Not from
No,
Frank, though.
But I got to tell you something.
Frank will never give me no
A
quickie
whole
pie.
bottle of that extra virgin olive oil. I couldn't believe it. And I actually put some butter in there too.
Oh,
because
butter.
I always like butter with my oil.
The way you do it in a restaurant is like you're not just using the oil once. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's still expensive oil.
Still expensive, I know. But I'm a chef. That's what we do.
Right. Exactly. A $75 sandwich. That's over the top.
Beth, I had a great time. It's always a pleasure working with you. I can't wait to see you in person and give you a hug.
Me
I
too.
look forward to that day. Take it easy, Beth.
Be well.
And you be well as well.